Well, hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the Trig podcast of Joey and Goso TV on this beautiful Wednesday. No, excuse me, Tuesday, March. I think it's the third today of 2026. Yes, March the third, I believe. Where's my phone? What's today? Someone tell me. Yeah, March the third. So, talking about. By the way, please comment, subscribe if you're listening to me. Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you are. Thank you. And please subscribe, comment, like, send me an email, text. But talking about leadership and how to work with strong personalities. So I think most of us creatives are, not all, but I know it's true for me, we're relational beings. I think being a relational being, especially in music or creativity, or I'm also a pastor speaker, it's very helpful because you relate to people, but it's difficult in the boardroom. I remember years ago when I was pastoring a church in Bellflower, the first maybe year I looked forward to board meetings every Tuesday, once a month, yeah, once a month on Tuesdays. But then as tensions built, I would literally have a knot in my stomach all week prior to the board meetings because they were very contentious and it's just not my personality type to fight. I'm fine with most of those things and being clear and communication and all that. But when it comes to fighting, which is what it is, it's not my preference, not my thing. And in many ways, it's because I like to keep my spirit pure. I used to be a argumentative person, but I've confessed that and I have repented of it. Judgment, criticizing others and myself, because a lot of that comes from self criticism and self hate, self judgment. And I've repented of that. I have many experiences that helped me to do that. And so now maybe I err on the side of quote being the nice guy, but I have committed myself to being kind and gentle, even when I have an opinion or I need to call someone to a task or and I make mistakes sometimes at home, at work. And then of course fear gets in there when leading with other people, when dealing with other people, at least for me. So what do you do? Well, I think for the last year I've dealt with a lot of strong personalities in quote the boardroom. And what I've realized is you have to meet in some ways fire with fire. The kids say, I'm going to give you the energy that you give me, something like that. I want to treat you with the same energy that you treat me. You know, that really is the whole eye for an eye thing, and it's not biblical. God says to turn the other cheek. And that's my stance. But I think that to earn the respect of some people, you have to meet them where they're at. In music, it's easy for me because it's my world, and so people see that I can sing and play and lead, and so they respect me, and I do the same thing with them. In the boardroom with non-creatives, with more thinker types, aggressive types, body types, you have to meet them so where they're at. So if someone comes to me with thinking logic, I'm not going to go to them and sing them a song. Instead, I need to be logical, which is probably my second strength. First being heart, second logic, and third is doing. If I have somebody that's more of a doer, then I'm going to struggle more because it's not my preferred way of communication. But I have to meet them where they're at and be, you could say, in their face more. And so, and this is a hard one, not take their aggression personal. And then for the logic types, not take their analysis and maybe what I would call their negative Nancy attitudes personal. It's the same goes if you are a heart type and you have someone who is very lovey-dovey, to not take that personal, to not think anything bad of it. So every one of us has a strength and a weakness. I wonder what you are. Are you more of a heart type, thinking type, or a body or a intuitive or a yeah, a doer basically. Now, what are the sins that go with it, or the vices, or the egos that go with each? So, with the body types, it's anger. With the heart types, it's shame, and then with logic types, it's fear. What are the antidotes or the virtues of each? Well, of the body types, it's getting things done. Of the thinking types is of being wise, wisdom, and then of the heart types is of creativity and love. So you have these three types of people, these three centers of intelligence, as they're often called. And in the world, you have to deal with all three, no matter where you are, no matter if you are an artist or a top CEO or an entrepreneur or whatever. These are the realities that you face, not only at work, but then, yeah, with your wife or kids or friends or people you play with, all that stuff. So the other day, I had a pretty intense, to me, argument with a body type leader that to me always feels very aggressive. It gives me headaches. I feel a pit in my stomach. I feel like I should have maybe even been even more strong, blah blah blah. But afterwards, for that other person, you've earned their respect, and they will then basically stand down. If you don't do that, they will just keep walking all over you. And all of this is not good. Every one of us should be controlled by the Holy Spirit. But we are not. We are sinners saved by grace, and we make a lot of mistakes. With a logic type, if you meet them in a rational way and go through things logically, then you're going to win them. But if you come up with a bunch of ideas or possibilities, they're going to just dismiss you as irrelevant or as emotional. Emotional damage. And so now, if you're talking with a bunch of creative types, then you have to let your heart go right there, meaning out. I was meeting with a creative type a couple of weeks ago, and she was just eating up all of my ideas. She was adding to it, just lit up because she's also an artist, a creative type. So, as my friend says, if you want to lead at a higher level, you have to know how to work with everyone. And it's not easy. It's not easy for me because I am a heart type. And so with the logic types, I feel like they're so dry and they don't like me, or they're so negative with I don't know about not liking me, but yeah, with the body types, I always feel like they're so aggressive and so mad at the world. And then they have their views of me. So you have all that. But as I said at the beginning, it all is evil. It's all evil. It's all the flesh. None of this is the spirit. The spirit is other centered, not me centered. All of these things are me centered. What do I need? What do I want? What do I think? What are you doing that hurts me? But the spirit gives life. And so ask yourself, who are the people in your life that give you life? And who are the people that take away your life, that drain you, as it used to be called? And so now you can't just quit every job or quit every relationship. So you have to work with these people, but you have to, in some ways, like people say, protect your energy and try to minimize the time with people that drain you or that suck the life out of you, etc. And I try to do that. I used to have 1 hour meetings with people that I had to meet with that drained me and made me feel small. Now it's just like 10 minutes. And then with people that give me life, I try to meet with them a little more often. So, but back to the Spirit says to turn the other cheek. The Spirit says to work on being filled with love and kindness. The Bible says that love does not keep a record of sins. And my goodness, I have people that are always keeping a record of everything wrong that I do. And so in music, my goodness, if you are that way, you're going to lose in any creative endeavor. Not just music, but creative teams. you're going to lose out. Now, you have the other side, the Steve Jobs and cutthroat leaders that create beautiful things at the expense of people. You have top dogs that will rise to the top of even creative endeavors, but will hurt half the world on their way to the top. And I know people like that. I used to be like that. I used to be that kind of person, but as I said, I've repented, and now I'm accused of being nice, but I'm not going to become an angry type again. It's in me, it's in my culture, it's in my blood, it's in my heritage, but no way. It's in my family, but I'm not going to do that. And I've made some mistakes a few times. And every time God in my body says, nope, that's not you. Lead with love, but lead with love. But it feels horrible. Lead with love. But they're going to take advantage of me. Lead with love. So there are 9 types according to the Enneagram personality stuff. And why don't we lead with love? Well, if you're a 1 because you think it's not fair, it's not just. If you're a 2 because people aren't loving you back. If you're a 3 because you're not winning if you don't step on people. Number 4, if you're a 4 because others are better than you or other things are better than you if you lead with love. Number 5, if you're a type 5, wait a minute, let's see, 8, 9, 1. So let me go back. So 1, yeah, 2, 3, okay, 4, 5, yes, because those people want to take advantage of your time. If you lead with love, the 6 type, you're going to say because you're not committed to me. If I show love, then are you really for me? What if something goes wrong? If you're a type 7, is if I commit to love, well, I'm going to get stuck with you. If you're a type 8, if you lead with love, you're going to think, well, what if you control me? You're going to use that against me. If you're a type 9, you're going to say, well, what if you ignore me? What if you leave me? What if you take away my peace? So every one of us, maybe there's one that relates to you more than the other. Maybe look back and see that. But every one of us, I'm a type 3. For me, the lie that rises is if I love you, then I'm not going to win. I'm not going to be able to rise to the top because I see you, this is how I used to think, as a stepping stone to my success, to me going to the top of the tower, top of the ladder. Now, I don't see people like that. Now I see it as we, not I. I've repented of me. And it's not me, it's we. And when I work with my band, when I work with my team, when I'm here at home with my wife and kids, when it comes to even all this political stuff, it's we, not me. And that's what's wrong with every time that we focus on me, it goes south. Have you noticed that? But yet, that's what we think we need to do to protect ourselves. The old me says, if I don't think of me first, you're going to step on me, and you're going to get to the top, and what about me? Because there's only room for one person at the top, which is just not true. There's room for all of us at the bottom. This is a race to the bottom. That's what it should be, a race to the bottom, meaning to humility, to love and service. Who are the best musicians that I know? I don't remember many talented ones. It doesn't matter. You know who I remember? The kind-hearted, talented ones. The kind-hearted geniuses. The loving and supportive and kind doctors or amazing players, musicians, and singers. The ones that are good, but they think they're so amazing, or they don't like to serve, or they criticize, or they look at you and you know they're hating on you. I pray for them. I say, Lord, help them. That's how music is. You know that if you're a creative, in every endeavor, any creativity, any creative endeavor, in any relationship, in the office, the people that you work with, who are the people that you get along with? The people, of course, that are more like you, or that you can learn from, or that serve you and love you. that are there for you. Yesterday, somebody asked me, "Oh, do I have any, what did they say, any good will with you? Have I done anything for you?" And ironically, that person has been pretty mean to me. But I said, "Yeah, how can I help you?" I didn't say, "Oh, yeah," but I didn't also walk away. I said, "How can I help?" And I did help her. I connected her with some people. And even though in my heart and in my mind, I knew what she had done and what things she has said and all these blah, blah, blah stuff, bunch of lies, but I didn't let that keep me from serving. Is that being an idiot? I struggle with that sometimes. I think, man, what an idiot. I should have, but then what? Should have what? Return evil with evil? Eye for an eye? Cheek for a cheek, as they say? Eye for an eye? No, God says turn the other cheek. And so that's what I did yesterday, turn the other cheek. At times, I go toe to toe, but I'm also aware of that person's energy and always resolve it towards love and peace. At home with my wife, no, I'm not going to go toe to toe with my wife. Anytime that I do, even for a minute, it's just stupid. That's the best thing about marriage and family is because they're your family. When you act wrongly, you know right away, and you feel the strain. And so I say, nope, that's not how I should talk to my wife. It's not how I should be with our kids. Nope, that did not work. No matter how logical or how upset or how, nope, love. Now, love does not mean fear. It doesn't mean to be used by people or to be abused. Love love is also righteous. Love is also strong, you could say. And so that's something I have to be aware of because just because we're feelers doesn't mean that we get to feel everything and control other people or expect everyone to feel like us or to listen to our verbiage for 30 days or that every feeling that we have or creative idea is good. A lot of things that I say, I look back and think that was dumb. And I'm glad that people didn't go with my idea and vice versa. And so you have to be aware no matter who you are and pray at all times and always lead with love, grace and truth, and err on the side of grace. I'll end with this. My whole life, I have experienced a lot of separation. And I grew up, if you know my story, without my parents since age 12, 13, because of a war. Speaking of Iran these days, because of the Iran-Contra war in Nicaragua, where I was born, I had to leave home and come live with my grandma after going through a 3-4 year war, which was horrible. And so in my heart, at times, I can feel very bitter and very like a victim. I don't know about a victim, very bitter about what's happened, bitter towards God and life and myself. But what I have embodied and really hung on to is the grace of God and the prodigal son story, that no matter how far I may go from God, that every time I go back to him, he's right there waiting with his arms wide open. With arms wide open. Shout out to, who is that? Creed. And so if you run away from me and you come back, my arms are wide open. If you run away and you don't come back, my arms are wide open. I've learned to lead by grace, lead with grace, stand on grace, to be a man of grace, to give myself grace, to show others grace. Is there room for don't do this, don't do that, and don't drop that, and you messed up? I mean, we already know that we messed up. Who doesn't know when they drop a bowl of cereal and the milk spills everywhere? Who doesn't know and feel bad? Who doesn't think, I don't want to do it again? It's natural in us. But when a parent or an adult says, you messed up, you better not do that again, that reinforces fear, not responsibility or grace. I'd rather say, I'm sorry that happened. Let me help you pick it up. Oh, did you need a napkin? You need our paper towels? Here you go. Let's do it together. That's what true service and servant leadership is like. And that's what I'm committed to no matter what. So I hope that helps. If you need my coaching, email me, tag me, follow me on the Instagrams and the socials at davidTrig. Please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to my podcast. I'm trying to grow my audience here. And thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Adios.